this video, we'll be solving one-step inequalities. In an inequality, when we graph the solutions, pay attention to the number line. Numbers grow to the right and smaller to the left. When we add a number to both sides, we keep the symbol. When we multiply by a positive number, we keep symbol. When we divide by a positive number, we keep symbol. When we subtract the number from both sides, we keep the inequality symbol. And the two situations when we reverse the inequality symbol is when we multiply by a negative number, the symbol will be reversed. So reverse the symbol. And when we divide by a negative number, we reverse the symbol. In other words, when we solve, we need to pay attention to the rules. Keep the symbol for adding, subtracting, multiplying by positive and dividing by positive, and reverse the symbol in two situations: when you multiply by a negative number and when you divide by a negative number. Let's see a few examples. Solve and graph the inequality. So number one, we have the constant 7, which is positive, plus 1x or x greater than 5. First, we'll subtract 7 from both sides because 7 is positive. Subtract the 7 to create that zero pair and have the x alone. When we add a number, we keep the same symbol, greater than, and then 5 minus 7 is negative 2. So the solution set has to represent numbers greater than negative 2. On the number line compared to 0, negative 2 is on the left, and the greater than numbers grow to the right. Empty circle, an arrow to the right of negative 2. What if a negative number is multiplied by the variable? Inverse operation will be to divide by negative 2 on both sides. When we divide by a negative number, very important to remember, reverse the symbol. So the division by negative, the step right here, reverses the inequality symbol. It was greater than, it will reverse to less than. Negative divided by negative will be 1x or x alone. And then here negative divided by negative is 3. The solution set will be numbers less than 3. Graph numbers less than 3. On the number line compared to 0, 3 is on the right hand side, empty circle, and point to the left. Numbers less than 3 are 2, 1, 0, and all the negatives. So in order to solve one-step inequalities, it's important to remember the steps. Number one, use inverse operations to get rid of the numbers and have the variable alone. Keep or reverse the symbol. We keep for adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing by a positive number. And we reverse when we multiply and divide by a negative number. Then graph the solution set on the number line. So for instance, 4x equals 12 means 4 times a number is less than 12. 4x is a multiplication. Inverse operation is division. So we divide by 4. Dividing by positive keeps the same symbol. And then we graph numbers less than. 12 divided by 4 is 3. So compared to 0, 3 is on the right hand side. Empty circle and go less. Numbers less than 3 are to the left of 3, and 3 is not included, so empty circle. Negative 3 being the constant plus x is less than 0. In order to solve, we have this constant, which is subtraction. Inverse operation is addition, or add 3 to both sides. Adding 3 to both sides, we keep the symbol. Drop down that x alone, 0 plus 3. Same inequality, 0, and then 3 on the right of 0, empty circle, point to the left. The values less than 3 are on the left hand side of 3. X minus 5 greater than or equal to negative 4. In order to solve, we add 5 to both sides. Adding 5 to both sides, we keep the symbol. So adding, we keep symbol. X will come down alone. Negative 4 plus 5, different sign. Subtract, keep the sign of the bigger number, and be 1. So where are the numbers greater than or equal to 1? We need to include the solution, solid circle 1, and greater. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way to infinity. On the right of 1, solid circle for equal sign. 6x, it means multiplication of 6 and x. Inverse operation is division, and you're dividing by positive. So dividing by positive, we keep the inequality symbol. Whatever it was, less than, stays less than. And then negative 6 divided by 6 is negative 1. So dividing by positive, keep the symbol. Solution set is all the numbers less than or equal to negative 1. So marking negative 1 on the left hand side of 0, circle, shade it in. We include negative 1 and less. Negative 2, negative 3, all the way to negative infinity to the left of negative 1. Next example. 8 is a constant, plus x is less than 5. To get that x alone, we need to subtract the 8 because positive 8 is the constant. To create the 0 pair, we subtract 8. Subtracting a number always keeps the same inequality symbol. So we drop down that x alone. We keep the less than symbol, and then 5 minus 8, negative 3. Different sign, subtract. Keep the sign of the bigger number. Then we graph the inequality. Compared to 0, negative 3 is on the left hand side. Empty circle. This time we don't have that equal sign. And go less. Less means negative 4, negative 5, negative 6, negative 100, negative 1,000, all the way to negative infinity. What if I have negative x? Negative x is negative 1 hidden coefficient multiplied by the x variable. X is not alone. Negative 1 means we have a number there multiplied by the x value, then greater than or equal to negative 2. So to solve, we have to divide this negative 1. divide by -1 on both sides. Once you divide by a negative, we reverse. So dividing by negative, reverse the symbol. It's important to remember that division by negative, we have to reverse the symbol. That is very important. 2 divided by -1 is -2, so the solution set has to represent the numbers less than or equal to -2. Compared to 0, -2 is on the left-hand side. Circle and shade it in. We include -2 and less numbers or smaller numbers of -2 are on the left. Let's reinstate or reinforce that rule. If you have negative variables do not exist. We have -1 hidden coefficient multiplied by x. In order to solve, we have to divide by -1 and have that x alone, so we must divide by -1. And once we divide by a negative number, we have to reverse the inequality symbol. Negative divided by negative will be +1x or just x. 5, because negative divided by negative is positive, and the symbol in between will be greater than. So dividing by negative, reverse the symbol. The inequality symbol must be reversed if we divide by a negative number. Then when we graph, 5 is on the right hand side of 0. Empty circle, go right for greater numbers such as 6, 7, 8, and so on to the right. The variable is on the right hand side this time, so we start solving where the variable is. The goal is to get x alone, so subtract 3. When we subtract the number on both sides, we always keep the same inequality symbol. Bring down that variable, and then -3 with -3, -6, add the numbers, keep the sign. In order to graph, -6 is on the left of 0, and -6 is the biggest number. X or x values have to be smaller, such as -7, -8, -9, so on the left of -6. It's always easier if you rewrite the inequality with the variable first, then graph. So then you can see numbers less than -6 are on the left of -6. So if the variable is on the right hand side, you start solving where the variable is. -5x means multiplication. Inverse operation is division, and you have to divide by -5. Once we divide by -5, both sides, the x will be alone, but remember, dividing by negative, important, we reverse the inequality symbol. So if the original inequality, the symbol was less than, we reverse it to greater than, and then 10 divided by -5 is -2. To graph the solution set, we mark -2, and then to make it simpler to graph, rewrite the inequality with variable first. So it's like flip it over, write it backwards. X is less than or equal to -2, shade to the left. So in solving inequalities, we use inverse operations, and always remember to reverse the inequality symbol when you're multiplying by negative or dividing by negative. In all other situations, the inequality symbol remains the same.